entertainment, insights. Don't take life too seriously. Welcome to Brainsky Unleashed. Hello and welcome everyone to Brainsky Unleashed. On today's episode, we have Connor Dube. Now, Connor is a very interesting character in my opinion. I've met him a few times. I've been watching his content. And if you've noticed, if you were looking at your screen, this dude is young. But yet you'd never necessarily know that he was young because of the wisdom that he's able to espouse. He is with provencontent.com. That is his website. He has the B2B Mentors podcast. What Connor does, I think, is very interesting. He's really cultivated relationships with some highly successful people, C-suite types of guys, really, really successful. And so he's been able to take what he's gained from those relationships and share it, and he can teach it, he can speak to it, in addition to bringing out such good content and interviewing them. So I thought, why not have you on the program, and let's get some of that damn good proven content on Brainsky Unleashed. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, brother. Honored to be here. I don't know if that's is that a jet engine or is that a windmill or what
That
it is
is
you
a
got going
jet
on back there,
engine.
but
I am all about, speed, and jet engines produce it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I resonate very well with that. And yeah, I've got the young face apparent, and our mutual, kind of business coach, JT, when we had first met, he's like, dude, how old are you? Like, he thought I was young. I'm actually 42 years old, believe it or not.
Oh my God,
Just
are you
kidding. I'm
really?
not. I'm not. I didn't mean to start off
Oh,
this podcast with a lie to you guys,
oh,
but I am. I just turned 30. But believe it or not, I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 7. Started a handful of companies over the years. I've just always had a passion for business, for marketing, for sales. I was a kid that was, had too small of a car to fit a lawnmower, in to go mow people's lawns. And I had a lawn mowing and landscaping company. So I literally strapped my lawnmower to the top of my vehicle with bungee cords and, did a bunch of bootstrap businesses and stuff like that over the years. And, did number of stints, did door to door sales. That was pretty much the only kind of like corporate company I'd ever worked for when I was paying my way through college. And then, when I graduated, I was looking to get into another business, launch a company. My dad had actually had this agency, which was around former, called Proven Systems, and they did newsletters very early on for a number of different companies. It was perfect because I love business. I love sales. I was in this very kind of niche arena of business to business, working with these very complex technical industries, long sales cycles, multi-million dollar deals that they work, and content for them is absolutely everything. So I stepped in about, 7-8 years ago into that company, and came in as a partner, earned some equity in that business, and have just helped to evolve that over the years amongst, do a number of different things, some advisory for companies. But really my area, my sandbox I like to play in is, high dollar, long sales cycles, very corporate, professional B2B, sales and marketing. And I love it. I have a passion for it. So
I love stories like that because, you're a guy who essentially
I am
is
a
living.
guy. Last time I
Well,
checked.
I mean, anything can be questionable these days, unfortunately. You just never know. So you are a guy. You have identified as a guy. I will treat you as a guy because you have identified as a guy. Therefore, we have that mutual respect. I'm a guy, by the way. Okay, so pronouns be damned. Um, you're a you're a guy who's essentially living the American dream, and you got to that point at a very early age because you started at an early age. You had that entrepreneurial spirit, and that you had that game. The thing that I've really kind of been noticing as I've been listening to your content is just the wisdom that you have for your age. Now that you've identified as yourself as 30 as well as 42, so which one is the truth? We're going to go with the 30 because I believe it based on what I see because I trust my eyes. Again, not trying to get too political, but whatever. Today's crazy. So with that, you have had the opportunity to work with brilliant minds. You've been involved in large scale deals. What is it that the rest of us tend to be missing? What would you say is like a number one piece of advice or a piece of wisdom that you would like to share with the entire world for that matter from your experience.
What is missing? Your question is
What,
what
what,
is
what are
m
the rest of us missing? Because we're all missing
I
something,
mean, look,
right?
I've always been quick to take action. At the age of 22, and I think it's just cuz I just dove in, did things I was uncomfortable with. Door-to-door sales taught me a hell of a lot, so it kind of just beat the fear out of me to really do anything. And by the time I was 22, I had already generated $10.8 million in sales. And I was managing, 22 people. Some of them were almost three times my age at that point. So I think anyone can kind of cultivate that level of success, but you have to get started eventually. And there is no perfect magic formula. I've just always asked people how they do it, and I've just kind of translated that into my own space and just slowly started taking action. And that's how I've been able to work and, match up some of these companies with partners, made a lot of money doing that. I've sold personally to Fortune 500 organizations. And I think part of that really comes down to my branding. I've for years and years and years have been putting content out on the internet. I realized very early on that I didn't have money to pay for mentors and pay for coaches, which everybody needs. So when I first kind of, went down the road of, okay, I really want to change my life, I really want to grow, I really want to scale, I was like, I don't have money to pay for coaches or anything, but what I can do is create a platform that I can provide value for. So when I was in Denver, I actually launched a television show, which, originally was starting as a television show. We're going to be on local cable. It was called Mile High Mentors. And my idea was I'm going to find the top entrepreneurs, investors, business connections in Denver and in the surrounding area and interview them and share that information with others. But all the while selfishly, getting connected up with these people in a way that's valuable for them. And it's also incredibly valuable for me. So that's worked so well. I've stuck with that for over, 7 years. I've changed the podcast. Now we have the B2B Mentors podcast, but the, same principles apply is one, and this goes for marketing, this goes for sales, wanting to do deals, you name it. Number one, you have to reach enough of the right people. If people don't know you, they can't flow to you, they can't, they can't transact with you, they can't coach you, they can't mentor you, and whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And number two, you have to consistently stay in front of people. And so, no matter what's going on in my life, how busy, you can point that I have been consistently videos, podcasts, articles, speaking engagements. I just got back from, speaking at a conference just a little bit ago, and you got to stay in front of people, and that's really it. One, reaching enough of the right people. Two, being able to stay in front of them, whether it's your marketing, whether it's sales, whether you're looking for investors, for your audience, Thomas, maybe something kind of different, but that's the key. And then from there, you just got to follow up. That's the biggest thing.
Brainsky Unleashed is powered by ProfitMax. Did you know that 93% of businesses overpay on their taxes? Do you pay too much in taxes? A recent study showed that businesses are overpaying between 34 and 71%. ProfitMax is proven, legal tax strategy solutions to reduce your tax burden. I'm not only a client, but I even joined the team to help other business owners just like me pay only their fair share and nothing more. Go to profitmax.co. That's profitmax.co. Profitmax.co to find out more. You can even connect with me there, as you should. And I'll help make sure that your tax bill is legally as low as allowed. ProfitMax. Keep your cash. So let's kind of boil that down a little bit because I am of the same belief that you are. And I mean, we both run podcasts, and I've seen you produce the content that I agree and I espouse, and I even try and tell people the same thing. The magic of the podcast doesn't actually come from the content, the creation. That's actually not where the value comes from. You'll never really monetize a podcast in today's world just by simply producing nifty videos. I mean, Joe Rogan can, but Joe Rogan is also connected with extremely popular, well-known people. And so therefore he does have a good interview style, and therefore he does bring them on, and the content itself is monetized that way. However, it's the relationships that lead to the success. It's not the content that leads to the the success as much as his relationship. So,
And it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you're really breaking it down, like saying you'll never monetize a podcast, I've
well, you
made
can,
a lot of money with the podcast, but it's not that,
it's not
building
immediate.
and I just did a video on this the other day is like, don't start a podcast. And this is where we had first met
Yeah.
at a conference. And I encouraged you because you're kind of back and forth. I'm like, just do it because at the end of the day, no one's going to be listening, but maybe your, family in the very beginning, but what you are going to get is connections and relationships. And I've been talking about this for several years now, just because I've actually gone out and done it. And so the relationships that you make, but it's also a whole cycle, a 360 cycle. You don't even need to launch a podcast to do this. And we do this for a lot of clients, through what we do at Proven Content is take the subject matter experts, take our clients, take their partners, interview them, and then turn that into thought leadership content, social proof content. They get the connections, the relationships, but they're also, it's a self feedback loop system because that content you create will also go out and attract other potential clients. It's going to attract other potential partners. You're providing value for those that you're interviewing, and you're providing, value for your audience. And so it meets the two requirements to be successful at sales and marketing: reaching enough for the right people. Number two, consistently stay in front of them. We overcomplicate the heck out of, out of just, doing business.
One of the first things that you came right out and said, and this is one area where I think that in most cases, even just for myself personally, uh, I can think and move and decide and get something done rather quickly. Sometimes I'll sit on things for far too long, but I think one of the big mistakes that most people who attempt to make money in life make is they wait and they overthink, they overcomplicate, they wait for like a perfect scenario. Conditions must be this for me to do that, and you didn't do that, and you don't do that, and you continue to accelerate
I'll
in
give you a
your
great
career.
example of
Go
it
ahead.
that's super relevant. We are launching a software company, right? It's called ConvertiVisit, and we literally started and I've launched a number of different things. We used to do a training program for our clients for LinkedIn. I went out and I sold $20,000 of it before I even built a single module. Same with the software. I went out, I sold it, I sold the vision to make sure that people actually wanted it. Then I took that feedback and went out and I built, the website, the content, the copy, refined it and everything like that. But too many people, they put all their time, effort, and energy into like just planning, thinking. While you're doing that, guys like me, guys who you see that you maybe aspire to be, have already taken 5 or 6 steps and probably already monetized their idea before they've even put anything together that is there to deliver it. That is, I mean, look at Elon Musk. This is the best case study for raising capital in the entire world. This man went out, put together a minimum viable cyber truck, right? Did a presentation of it. People went crazy for it. And he said, if you want to reserve this for when it's ready to launch, put $100 deposit, for down for the cyber truck. Now, this was what, maybe 6, 7 years ago.
That video with the breaking of the glass was absolutely classic, and the funny thing about that is, even though it could have looked bad, it didn't matter because it got a lot of attention.
6, 7 years ago, and they're just now rolling out into production. Well, guess what? What did Elon Musk do? He raised billions of dollars to go fund
His
developing the
truck,
Cybertruck,
which
right?
didn't exist at the time.
So it didn't exist. It wasn't a finalized product. He raised billions of dollars from private investors, guys, people that are in his market that he wants to sell to the Cybertruck to put a deposit. Now, the deposit's refundable. So, what's he doing? He's raised the money, he's building out the product, and then he's delivering the product. And some people will fizzle out, say, "Hey, I don't want it. I want my money back." By then, he's freaking rolling in the cash and, basically found the funding to go out and launch this company.
I mean, to be clear, the other thing you don't wanna do is, be that guy who takes a lot of people's money and doesn't deliver, because
That's how
that's a
you end
whole
up
other
in
story.
jail.
That's how you end up with
And
3
that's
hots
a
in a cup.
different, yeah, that, I mean, that's a Ponzi scheme, and that's,
Yes.
different
Yeah.
different kind of situation of what we're talking about, and I'm not talking about go get money from people and don't deliver anything. You'll be out of business very quickly and may find yourself obviously landed in handcuffs. That's not what we're talking about here, but if you have a legitimate product, service, idea, you can't there's no reason to not go sell it first and then build it based on the feedback you're gonna get. You're gonna get a better product market fit out of the bat. A lot of people go out and build something, and then they spend 6 months, 12 months, 14 months, 18 months just trying to even figure out who the hell they're selling it to and getting the market. It's outrageous. It's completely ridiculous.
To me, absolutely sage advice right there, and I think that's something that, when you look at many small businesses, they're they're unable to do that, and, depending on what the business is, it may or may not be capable, if it's a product or service or whatever that's but most of us are capable of forward thinking, of forecasting, of, if you've got an idea, you can sell the idea if you can at least sell. Speaking of selling, what were you selling door to door?
I was selling windows door
Oh,
to door, and believe it
awesome.
or not, there's a lot more nudist families in Denver, Colorado than you probably like to know about.
Oh, wow.
So,
So you would literally knock on people's door hawking windows.
yep.
I mean,
Brutal, the most brutal thing you could ever do, but the best sales skill you could ever learn is just going up to someone who is pissed, end of their day, their kids are crying, they're trying to feed their family, completely come in, disrupt them, and convince them to buy something. There's nothing
now
else more difficult out there in the business world.
I mean, Kirby vacuums, big seller, of course.
Mhm.
Selling windows. I mean, whoa,
And these were the
that's
most
selling.
expensive windows in the market. I mean, if like a normal window is 50,000, project or 50 grand, these are like a couple hundred grand. So they were like the most expensive product on the market for good reason. It was a good quality product and they
So
did
what
very
was
well.
what was established for you that would give you the tools to be able to, to sell it? Because I mean, let's be honest, it's not like it's your window. So somebody had to make the windows. You're working on their behalf. They
Mhm.
had to create the training content for you. They had to create, the brochures and the reasoning behind it and help you with the sales pitch and all that. It's not like you were the only guy who went, all right, well, you know what, John, you got this nice window that you've just created. I'm going to go sell this. So what was established for you? Was there a good system behind it, or did you have to take a piece of crap and really tweak the piece of crap system for you to be even more successful?
This company is over 100 years old.
Okay.
So, fortunately, and this applies, every business needs this, whether you're a one person operation or you're a 100-person operation, is there were systems in place. There was training, lots and lots of training, lots of coaching, lots of support to do it. And that helped me to excel. And I just took, bits and pieces of what worked, what didn't work, just trial and error. And then eventually I was, one of the top producers there. I ended up managing, training people, and then, they moved me into another department. And I was managing and training, 20 plus people and so on and so forth. And it, came down to systems, coaching, support,
Yeah.
training. Absolutely.
I will share this with you because I too have attempted door to door sales, and I might have been more successful selling a quality window than attempting to sell frozen meat and fish out of the back of a truck. Let me just tell you what a slog that one was. I mean, scumbag outfit has a bunch of trucks with refrigerators and freezers on them.
Huh.
And you load up the truck with a bunch of random crap in the morning and you drive around and you stop at people's houses and businesses and you say some BS line like, yes, we provide meat and high quality meat and fish to local restaurants. And, we've got some extra stuff on the truck here. We're willing to let it go at cost. Oh my god. I mean, you wanna talk about filthy, you need a shower after that one. It was a complete scumbag thing, but, yeah, you know what? Maybe I need to go into Windows. Maybe that would work better. I don't know. I'm beyond that point in my life anyway. At this point, I could practically sell anything to anybody. Not that that would happen if I was talking to you in person, of course, because it's really not that's not how that works. But, anyway, Connor, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program. You did not fail to deliver. I think that you provided some just killer insight. And though I would probably be able to talk to you for a good hour or more and drill down on just everything that you talked about, we don't have the time for that. But I thank you so much for joining. And let's make sure that anyone who is listening to this, like my mom and my dad and my sister, and well, I do actually have some listeners, so I've got that going for me. For those who actually want to connect with you, how would they find you?
Best place, LinkedIn's probably my number one platform. You can find me anywhere. You could even just
That's
Google
where I
me.
watch you, is
Yeah,
LinkedIn. I mean, yeah.
Connor, Connor, Dube, Dube. You can also check out the B2B Mentors podcast, and there's very specific. I'm bringing in a lot of top, CMOs, billion-dollar CMOs. I've had guys like Jeff Hoffman, founder of Priceline.com, Booking.com, number of CEOs from publicly traded companies. So very, very business oriented, very B2B, business to business. And then check out, if you're spending money on marketing, check out convertivisit.com. That's our new company we're launching. Love your feedback on it. We're constantly looking to improve that. Essentially, what that does is helps you to recapture and return lost ROI on your marketing investment. So, it literally gives you leads that you've already paid for that you're missing through your website and helps you recapture those, leads through better data. So, that's convertivisit.com. Connect with me, send me a message, let me know you like the show. And, shout out to you, Thomas, for taking the action, putting this together. I've told a lot of people to do it, and they ask me about it because I've been doing it for so long, and they usually just
You
keep doing
don't?
what they're doing. So,
Yeah.
shout out to you for having a fantastic show. Did a great job, and look forward to maybe coming on again in the future. Happy to.
Yeah, listen, I look forward to that. And, just because I learn from you, I take your advice, for all of my adoring fans who are watching on YouTube and, of course, giving it 5 stars and the greatest reviews and comments ever, as you should, because if you don't, then, you're dead to me. But the good news is that after I hit stop on this recording, Connor and I are going to work together on a $500 million deal. We're going to set it up as soon as this call is over. So that's the exciting news. I'm very much looking forward to working with you.
Let's
So
roll.
thank you again for joining, and yeah, let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.